Gentlemen.
Hey guys, welcome back. Nerdy Gentleman here, and wanted to give you guys a quick update video on what's going on. As many of you might have known already, or might be soon to find out, 3.19 is out on the PTU, which is getting them scheduled properly for getting it out before Invictus, which happens May 19th. So doing a good job on that for going through and getting stuff released out properly. It's out on the First Wave PTU right now. There's a lot of people that have been playing it on live streams, which is great to see. Great to see a lot of the stuff that they're doing with it. One of the ones I was watching a little bit earlier, they were working with transferring some of the saddlebags and stuff like that with the tractor beams. One of the things I wanted to go through and kind of do a series of these informational sections looking at some of the different things that are coming out from the staff on the spectrum. One we're looking at right here says 3.19 PTU feedback, tractor beam, item attaching and detaching. Hello, we have released a new update to tractor beam functionality that allows you to detach ship components, including weapons, internal components, power plants, coolers, etc., where applicable to the ship, and mining laser heads. You can then place those components on your own ship in compatible hardpoints and or place those components within the cargo hold for sale to shops that carry those items. This significantly expands the kind and style of available salvage from disabled ships. In addition, this can be done on intact ships, though the ability to detach is linked to the port lock to the port lock unlock functionality. New keybind and cockpit menu for security reasons. For more details on how this feature functions, please reference the patch notes. We're especially interested in learning core functionality such as interaction issues, removing and replacing weapons, exploits and loopholes that allow easy sales, balance of component salvage to hull scraping salvage, and how these changes interact with claims insurance. Thank you for your input as always, Bear, Player Experience Team. So really glad that they do already have some of these Spectrum forum posts kind of set up for 3.9 PTU, looking for that feedback and what's going on. If you guys haven't downloaded the PTU yet, definitely get on the PTU, give them some good information, give them some good data that they can go through and use to go through and try to get this pushed through the PTU system. And so we can hopefully have a lot better experience than they had in 3.18, which was just terrible in all of its deliveries for it. Even now, we're still having some of these problems that are going through and consisting. But I did want to highlight Arch Intar, who put up a post on here with some really great points. So detaching is an awesome feature for diversifying salvage. Good job. However, components cannot be pulled out of the ship in multi-vehicle, multiple ships. Components cannot be pulled out of the ship. It seems that there might be problems with either the ship's design or bugs within the ships that prevent the removal of components. To ensure the salvage gameplay for internal components works correctly, it is crucial to thoroughly examine and revise all flyable ships in the game, which I absolutely, and this is his Star Issue Council report that he went through and posted it up on there. But I absolutely agree with that in the sense that right now we have, 115 to 120 ships that are in-game, that are flyable right now in-game. A lot of these ships go back to 2014, 2015, 2013 for whenever they were first introduced and haven't been brought up to speed, looking at ships like the Drake Caterpillar. So looking at a lot of different ships that are coming out currently, that are newer ships that are coming out, are coming out with a lot of this mindset set in place for where they're going to be doing some of these things. So things with the salvaging components, stuff like that. So they're having a lot of that stuff set in place. If you look at the comparisons between something along the lines of the Drake Caterpillar versus the Drake Corsair or the Drake Cutter, just keeping it within the same ship family, the newer ships, the Cutter and the Corsair, they have these so much more gold standarded versions of the ships that whenever you look at some of the older ships, like the Drake Buccaneer, the Drake Caterpillar, it's a much older designs that they have on there. So they weren't thinking at that point in time, cool, we need to make sure we have all components easily available and easily able to go through and get swapped out. We've been saying for a long time, both Panda and myself have been saying for quite a while that gold standards, like if they took a while instead of introducing a new ship out and just gold standarded ships, more people would be going to those ships that are basically reinvented with coming up to gold standard, getting reevaluated. I know that they had the 600 series Origin 600 series ships that they're going through and doing a complete redesign on, which we still haven't gotten a whole lot of word on that one, I believe. And they need to go through and if they spent a year or two instead of releasing new ships out, just going through and back and gold standarding, going through and getting everything up to right now's gold standard, that would be amazing. Next issue that he brought up, the transition between 0G and gravity is very bad. Fix it, please. And I agree with this. That's one of those things whenever you pop out into EVA, and he might be talking about more than just 0G on here, but whenever you pop out to EVA every single time, especially if you have a tractor beam out, your pyro multi-tool out, and your body just kind of spins, but your pyro multi-tool stays in the same spot, it just looks like you're winding yourself up. Really annoying. You can also like have either huge elevation or drop whenever you're getting out, just like zooming straight up for 20 meters. That can be really frustrating. Players cannot use the tractor beam within the armistice zone, which poses a considerable issue in managing their ship cargo. And I've run into this in 3.8, 3.18, and 3.18.1 and 0.2. Certain zones you could do it in, and certain zones you couldn't. But it sounds like in 3.19, they're going back to the spot where within armistice zone you're not able to, which is annoying because whenever you're looking at, even without taking off any of your items or anything else, when you're just trying to go through and manage your ship cargo from moving stuff from, say, a vulture to a caterpillar or something like that within the armistice zone, you want to be able to have that ability to go through and use your tractor beam within the armistice zone. Like on the ship, there's a lot of stuff that you can go through and get moved around and stuff like that, and it would be nice to go through and have that functionality in there. Next issue, I'm having trouble understanding why we need to store the ship twice, once to sell salvage items and then again to sell cargo. Is it not possible to do both at the same time? And I saw somebody else mention this a little bit lower. I'll show that one here in a second. Unlocking all item ports should result in the opening of all component doors, including the hidden weapon missile slots. This could be a solution if the ability to power up down salvage ships is not available. Feature request. Okay, that's a good point on there. This is not necessary, but nice to have. Marking and dismissing extraneous circumstantial salvage ship markers would be a great option, like dismissing the death corpse marker option. Feature request. The hacking option will allow players to unlock the item ports from a distance. Would be a great feature. That's a nice one. That sounds like it would be a nice one to have. FPS scanning mode for players can search components inside wrecks. Feature request. The reclaimer is missing a door on the rear of the ship for big components loading. A rear elevator can be a bit tricky, uncomfortable to use for players. Feature request. Players lack physical storage that can manage collected salvage items and hangars. Freight elevators. Feature request. So a lot of these ones right here are good ones to note. I did see one of these down here. Handling components can be dangerous because they tend to disappear, which sounds frustrating. I know that both when Panda and I were playing in 3.18.2, there would be plenty of times where you would grab something in your tractor beam and try to bring it over to another ship, and as soon as you drop it on the other ship, it looks like it stays, and then it disappears, and it's back exactly where it stood from, where it started from. We ran into that a lot with the Xeno threat that we were playing. The component attach detach requires you to unlock the items ports with an unbound key bind. I've bound mine to backslash, which sounds like a terrible idea, just because it's really close to backspace, and I would hate to get those two mixed up. Once the ports are unlocked, you can pull the items out at will, but it's useless when tractor beams are disabled in armistice zones. Don't know if they intended this or if it's to prevent griefing, even though a ship's ports must be unlocked or soft death. So that's a good point. Like if your ship has to be unlocked or in soft death to remove any items, then why have the tractor beams disabled in armistice zones? This one down here is one that I was looking at earlier. It said, I suspect at this time it's working as intended, but storing weapons, mining heads, etc. on the internal storage, you cannot drop them on the ground to then do an infield swap out. I tested this with mining heads to see if it was possible and logged an IC just in case. Would be nice to have, otherwise something for T1. Whenever I was watching some videos of the tractor factor, I think it was that episode, they were storing like a bunch of missiles and stuff like that in the cargo area of the ship. So it wasn't being stored on the internal storage. It was just being stored in the cargo area. And I guess the issue that I have with that is that if you have something stored in there and it's not grid locked, and I'll be honest, the ignorance is on my part. I haven't gone in and tested 3.19 yet. I'm busy with work and it just came out earlier today. But with the items just being stored loosely and not on a cargo grid slot. One, are they going to show up at most shops? Can you go through and do that? And these are things I want to try out for myself. If you guys have tried out, definitely let me know in the comments below. But are you able to just go through and sell them? Because somebody had mentioned the original poster, the Arch Intar, mentioned having trouble understanding why we need to store the ship twice, once to sell salvage items and then again to sell cargo. Is it not possible to do both at the same time? So I need to figure out what's going on with that one, why he has that one set up for Initiate Council. I'd like to go through and see, and he might have, actually I'm going to click in here, have ship with cargo and salvage ship parts, guns, coolers, etc., and store the ship. Go to any TDD to try to sell the cargo. TDD kiosks don't detect the cargo. Go to a shop that allows you to sell the salvaged parts while still having cargo. That shop won't detect the parts to sell. Remove salvaged parts from the ship and leave ship in hangar unstored. Go back to TDD and sell cargo. Having both cargo to sell and salvaged ship parts to sell, none of the kiosks detect either item, forcing the player to scrap the salvaged ship parts somewhere to sell the cargo, then come back later to sell the parts. What should have happened? Kiosks for selling cargo and salvage ship parts should be able to detect both to sell either of them at any part. Work around, get rid of salvage ship parts or the cargo to sell either one first. So that is frustrating. And then he does provide screenshots on here with nothing showing up whenever he's trying to go through and sell them, but then able to sell them whenever one or the other is not on there. And it looks like there's a lot of reproductions on here. Salvage Freelance Max had 3 boxes of cargo. Salvage boxes, missiles, and guns. I could sell guns. Missiles simply disappeared. After selling guns, boxes contained gold and iron ore and were unsellable even at mining stations. Could sell RMC. So yeah, so I definitely will need to get in there and do some of the testing for some of these to try to get some more information on there and to really go through and help update the issue council, because that's one thing we want to go through and see this 3.19. We want that to come out before Invictus Week. So definitely let me know down in the comments below if you've run into any of these issues. Have you played 3.19 yet? Are you going to play the 3.19? I know that it's first wave PTU, so some of you might not have the ability to go through and jump in on the first wave PTU. But do you plan on playing it whenever it comes out to the open PTU? So let me know, guys. I do want to do some more of these to where they're kind of touching base on a lot of the issues that they're going on with 3.19 and the PTU. I'm really excited that they're on track to go through and get this out before Invictus launch week. And I want to know what you guys think. So until next time, this is the Nerdy Gentleman reminding you to game happy. I love you all, and I'll see you all later. Bye, guys.